I did vote for Mr. Trump. Deporting the criminals is a great policy. These foundations are poured, ready to go, and we can't even start the construction on them. But we voted for the American dream, and unfortunately, right now, we're not seeing that. I've supported Mr. Trump in every election that he's been a part of. We just never thought that this would come and affect us in the construction industry, but most importantly, affect our economy here in South Texas.
What? Trump's ICE raids are affecting the construction industry? Who could have seen that coming except everybody? Who on earth could have seen that coming except everybody knows anything about anything? Wait, ICE raids are disproportionately affecting Latino people? Who would have seen that coming? Wild. It's really hard to figure it out.
These people would just show up to our job sites with no warrants, taking all our workers, even the workers with proper documentation. So we were gonna build 196 apartments here in a year, but because of all the ICE raids and all the enforcements that we've been seeing, it's gonna take us 3 years now to go ahead and finish this development. I hope they realize that this is really affecting us, and it's affecting the way that we feel towards the administration.
The Democrats must listen to these kind of stories and maybe do less parades in strange shirts like Tallarico's doing there with a very strange haircut. If they want to have any hope of clawing back power from the Trump administration, they have to listen to these lessons and punch them over and over again in their messaging to make sure the American people don't forget that Trump has militarized our country. Not only should the Dems highlight the sheer inhumanity of ICE and DHS and other agencies, but they also need to campaign on a progressive economic platform that would legitimately improve these voters' material conditions, improve their lives, so even more people wouldn't get duped in the future by the propaganda and lies the Republicans sold them in this last election.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. I have a construction company, and not a thing is getting done. This is what I get. This is what I nothing but white boys. It takes 4 days to do a one-day job. I might have up.
I don't know how they didn't realize it before, but they're realizing it now. Latino people have voted for Trump. People in industries that bought the lie that Trump would just deport criminals, and in fact, he's just targeting brown people, which everybody could have seen coming. Everybody warned you about, but that's what it is now. It's never too late to be on the right side of history. I mean, sometimes it is too late. Like some stuff you do, you can't take back. But this one, maybe you could still swing back and at least help, undo some of the damage you did.
You voted for President Trump in 2024. Do you regret that decision? ¿Te arrepientes esa decisión?
Yes, 100%.
Why do you regret that decision?
That's because it's nothing that's true. It's not true. He say he go to catch the delincuentes. Criminals, yeah. And right now, he don't follow to criminals. He go to specific to Latino people. The DHS come specific to me and catch to me. Not other people. Because don't care to other people. Specific Latino people.
Same goes for this former Trump voter. While it obviously would have been preferable for them to ditch the administration without having to be personally victimized first, people often care about stuff when it affects them and not before. But this is the reality we're currently living in.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket. I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast. But here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money. And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long. And oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Yeah, of course you wish he would keep his campaign promise. But is Donald Trump the most prolific liar in American history and political history? I wish he would go back into the genie bottle that came straight from hell, that he came out of. We can't all get our wishes. He already used his wishes, many times over. I think he wished for his own. Can genies grant themselves wishes? I guess they can. Big, floaty, tufty-sized genies can grant themselves wishes, and I guess he also can grant himself the I wish for more wishes wish. But I digress. Look, our country's obsession with personal responsibility and rugged individualism leads to people, as we've seen time and again in recent years, voting against their own material economic interests. And for politicians who espouse espouse those beliefs and don't care about their well-being whatsoever, they get voted right in because they've tricked the people. Because these tricks work by using wedge social issues, by dividing us rather than pushing for things that can actually help the American people. They are able to pull one over on everybody. Not everybody, but like, a little bit more than half of the country. Or as Trump calls it, a landslide.
I'm really scratching my head because I voted Republican and most of us in the fishing industry did. And we're not seeing the positives come out of it. When the tariffs initially went into effect, there was a huge jump in all of our tackle and supplies. And even though the tariff percentages were rolled back a little bit, our suppliers never rolled back their prices.
Oh, this could be the final straw for a lot of people. For a lot of people in this industry, man. I mean, we're already taxed to death. Everything, the cost of everything, tackle, the cost of operation, and then the fuel going up. It could be the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. I mean, and it's sad.
And these fishermen have a clear message to President Trump about who's suffering from this war back home.
The working class people like us that are going to suffer from this. There's no benefit to it for any of us. The war is pointless.
Look, a progressive economic platform that includes provisions like subsidized child care, Medicare for all, or at least Medicare for all as an option, stronger protections for workers, and other pro-working class policies that would benefit actual people, actual working people in this country. And, MAGA and non-MAGA members of the working class is how the Democrats win the next election. And you hope they'll be able to message it, but you're dealing with some of the most sinister messaging people in the world. And that brings us to the clip of MAGA world voices of Trump allies saying the quiet part out loud. Why is ICE in the airports? It's training to have ICE at the voting booths in the upcoming midterm elections this year. Take a look. Steve Bannon.
We can use what's happening with these ICE helping out at the airports. We can use this as a test run, as a test case to really perfect ICE's involvement in the 2026 midterm election, sir.
Yeah, I think we should have ICE agents at the polling places because if you're an illegal alien, you can't vote.
The ICE agents at the airports to help out. And remember, they said they're not going to work the x-rays. It's too complicated. They're not trained for it, but they're trained to, wait for it, check IDs. That's why it's perfect training for the fall of 2026. This is why it's such a brilliant, this is another 5D chess move for President Trump. Let's get ICE into the airports to help out to the lines. They can't work the machines. You know what to do? Just walk them down. Hey, we're a speed thing too. Can we check your IDs? That's what's going to happen in the fall of 26 because, folks, we're tired of having elections stolen. So ICE is going to be there in the fall of 26, just like they're in the airports today.
Right. So nobody bats an eye, but they've militarized now our airports, and they'll be militarizing our elections. Doesn't even sound like this is a maybe. This is a yes. And they flooded the zone, as Bannon also famously said, so much that we're tired. We have a war in Iran. No one's exactly even sure why. Like, yes, this evil regime in Iran had to go at some point. They're terrible, evil, repressive murderers. But why now? Was there an imminent threat? Not really. But it's a distraction from the Epstein files. It's a distraction on a more day-to-day policy matter from the plans to further the agenda to dismantle the last threads of American democracy. But other than that, everything's cool. Right? I'm Ben Gleib for Rebel HQ. You can follow me on YouTube at Good Night. Something special coming soon.